Super Sunday is ahead of us, people. The international break is over, and we are preparing for Liverpool versus Manchester United. We are preparing for the Premier League, but we are going to be focusing on this big game today. And one thing is for sure, we have to look at what Liverpool does good and how they do it bad, and how can Manchester United win this game, or how can Liverpool absolutely punish Manchester United in this situation. Of course, we all know that Liverpool are in a situation where they have lost 3 in a row. Now the question is, would they be going 4 in a row, which is something that Arne Slot has never done in his career, but you can always say Arne Slot never did 3 in a row in his career before, and this could basically be him breaking another really bad record for him in his career. We have also seen Liverpool lose around 7 at home, if I'm not mistaken. That was under Klopp, but we haven't seen that with this day and age, especially since 4 years ago. That has been a fortress for Liverpool. That right there, Anfield, has been the reason Liverpool has lifted trophies upon trophies. When you go there to that cauldron of a place, you tend to lose. And for Manchester United has not been able to score but 2 goals in that place within 5 years span. It is basically the 2-2 draw that we scored, and then I think 5-1 if I'm not mistaken. So let me tell you something about this situation. This game is going to be hard. The narratives of this game is going to be difficult, and it is truly going to be a situation where Amorim could basically get his first back win in the Premier League, and what a place for him to get that. At Anfield, what a place for him to get it. If he does, that means Liverpool then go 4 games losing streak. There is unheard of. That right there is difficult to come back. That right there, even though Liverpool are second in the Premier League, will be difficult for the morale to be resurrected. And like I always said, at this point, this is where we have to watch Arne Slot closely. We have to pay attention to what he does, pay attention to how he sets up his teams, because this right here now is his team. It is not Jurgen Klopp anymore. This right here is his team. The players that he wanted, the strikers that he wanted, the wingers that he wanted, the fullbacks that he wanted. This right here is his team. And so we get to judge Arne Slot for Arne Slot now. Not Arne Slot / Jurgen Klopp. But this is where it is definitely difficult. You get me? So let's get into the nitty-gritty of things. So if you love analysis, this is definitely a video for you. First things first, we are going to be looking at Liverpool versus Bournemouth. That game explained a lot of things to me. I will basically start with the breakdown of what Liverpool want to do against teams like this. Teams that have really tall defenders, teams that understand how to break in transition, and teams that are basically willing to give Liverpool the ball. Because that is what Aidoni Areola did. He gave Liverpool the ball and said, go and play, and we will punish you in transition. And guess what? We saw that Liverpool scored 2 goals. And one thing that Liverpool loves to do, even before we get to the goal, was the idea that the ball goes to the wing. So they play out of the back through the wings. So the likes of getting the ball to Van Dijk, getting the ball to Konate, getting the ball to either Szoboszlai or Frimpong, or Bradley giving the ball to Mohamed Salah. And Mohamed Salah having the wherewithal to hold up the play, allow Frimpong or Bradley or Szoboszlai to do the or underlap, and then gives him an opportunity to cut back and cross the ball to the back post. If you watch that game, it is something that they did time and time again. You saw an opportunity to Ekitike. You saw an opportunity to Virgil van Dijk, an opportunity to Cody Gakpo. Now, they didn't really score from that particular opportunity, but that is what they do to break in the space. Now, the truth about this situation is that they did that because they did not have Alexander Isak in that game. Liverpool are known and are really smart in understanding what striker should play against what team. When it comes to Liverpool and their choice of striker, it definitely plays a role to who is in form and who are they facing. In the likes of Bournemouth, Liverpool would have needed the cunning and the pickpocketing style of Alexander Isak, someone that can get the ball when there is nothing to play for, when everything seems like there's a zero chance coming, and he creates all of a sudden and scores a beautiful goal. That is what Isak does best. But what Ekitike does best for Liverpool is on transitions. It's on transition. If you give him an opportunity where he's able to run into or come in, give you the ball back and get an opportunity to run across, then Ekitike is the most dangerous thing in Liverpool. And that right there is where the problem lies for Manchester United. Because yes, Ekitike is not a problem in this situation, because I believe the way Manchester United are going to set up will be more favorable to Alexander Isak. But the problem is that Alexander Isak is one of the most dangerous strikers in world football. Do you get the understanding of this situation? If Manchester United decide to go a little bit forward and punish Liverpool in the transition, what you tend to see is that bringing Ekitike on becomes a problem. Because once we miss the chance, then it becomes a transitional defense for Manchester United, which is what we are worst at. That is how they score us majority of the time. And that right there is Ekitike's bread and butter. So now the question is, how can Manchester United defeat Liverpool? First things first, I was cracking my brain and watching, because I rewatched Bournemouth versus Liverpool. I rewatched Newcastle versus Liverpool. I rewatched Everton versus Liverpool. Those are the people that they have played that are very close to what Manchester United are in current day. And I said, based on what I see in Liverpool versus Bournemouth, the way Bournemouth were able to score 2 goals was one, still transitional attack. So they were transitioning in terms of their attacking style, but instead of them going towards the flank or across the head, they went directly towards Ibrahim Konate and Virgil van Dijk. And in that particular order, what we tend to see is that when you're running directly at those 2 players, both of them back up. Both of them want to delay. They are prone to understanding and prone to saying Liverpool and our players are running behind and are coming to catch up. So all we need to do is delay. And then what you tend to see in that situation is then you get an opportunity like Semenyo in the second goal, where he ran exactly straight forward on Virgil van Dijk and Konate, and they could not do anything. They kept on backing up until they got to their 6-yard box, where he absolutely smashed it. So that is one way that Manchester United could do that. Now the question is, who can do that for Manchester United? And that only rings one person, Matheus Cunha. Matheus Cunha does not have the power and the pace of Anton Semenyo. But one thing he does have is the cunning, the dribble, the stamina, understanding, and also the ricochet and the lock. I don't know how he does it, but he does it. There's something that just happens that whenever he gets a ricochet, he still lands on his feet. He still glides across people. And that right there is going to be Matheus Cunha. That is why I truly believe that he is going to be pivotal in this game against Liverpool. Now let's look at the game against Newcastle. How did Newcastle get the opportunity to win or to score against Liverpool? Especially because they were one man down with the boneheaded tackle Anthony Gordon did. It was all about set pieces. For Liverpool and for Newcastle in that game, it was all about set pieces. The moment we saw that Anthony Gordon got that red card, they changed their tactics from sitting back and literally hitting on the counter because they couldn't do that anymore, to going into the game, sitting in the mid block, understanding that they need to capitalize on set pieces. Now they still lost that game, but by a brilliant goal from Rio Gamoa. But in that situation, what we tend to see for Liverpool's weakness in their defense was Milos Kerkez. In that backline, if Milos Kerkez is playing, especially against Manchester United and the top players that we would have in our defense, and especially with Casemiro able to play, being one of the most deadliest threats for us in our team when it comes to set pieces, we need to attack the back post. So what does that entail for Manchester United? We need to understand that whoever is playing the left back and right wing back situation has to play a first time cross for a first time finish. That right there is what we need to do. So the likes of Patrick Dogu, get your crossing boots right. As you're coming back from Denmark, all you need to be doing in this situation is first time crosses, first time crushes. That way, we can see the ball going to the back post. That way, Benjamin Šeško, being a 6'5" dude, is able to bend his run in order for him knowing that it's going to the back post. Milos Kerkez going to be the smallest person apart from Jeremy Frimpong. And that is what is also going to be a balanced situation. Because the likes of Bradley, yes, he can play, but Bradley is still a young talent. Bradley right there is still a young talent. So I believe it's going to be Frimpong because Manchester United are going to give them the opportunity to play. But that is where the likes of Benjamin Šeško, Matthijs de Ligt, Lenny Yoru, Casemiro, all have to come into play. Even Matheus Cunha at some point. The back post, the front post, the back post, the front post. If you put it in the middle, it's going to be mopped up by Van Dijk and Konate. But you put it in the back post where you have Jeremy Frimpong and Milos Kerkez, the guys that are literally around 5'6", 5'7". And if you put a body on it, a body that is going to get that ball, we would be able to punish them via those set pieces. So that is the second thing that we need to understand and we need to focus on when we are talking about winning this game against Liverpool. The third thing is watching the game versus Everton. The way they were able to fire and to get back into the game. Now, Everton did not really do much to punish Liverpool. But what we saw was the creativity of Jack Grealish, the ability and the confidence of Iliman Ndiaye to take multiple players on at once. Drawing those players absolutely dismantles Liverpool's formation. One thing I've realized in the way they play is that they press in two halves, in blocks of fives. So you see the front block with the two guy in the middle or the two guy in the front with Ivica Tike and Mohamed Salah. And then in the back you would see the likes of Cody Gakpo tucking in, Gravenberch understanding and pushing up, and Szoboszlai. And then on the backhand side, you will see Bradley, Konate, and then you will see McAllister filling in those spaces. Then it is Virgil van Dijk and Milos Kerkez. So when you see that situation, you will always have a pocket in the middle. And that is where Bruno Fernandes come into play. But this is quite critical. This right here is quite critical because the way we need to build up, the way we need to play, we need to bypass the first block. So instead of us trying to do the triangle that we tried to do in the start of the season, because they are going to press us with 5 people, which is dangerous because we only have 5 people in the back. So that is man-to-man. That is dangerous. What we need to do is put in a midfielder in that situation. I would love it to be Mason Mount. I would love it to be Joshua Zirkzee. Someone that would be able to have Sané Lemons float the ball into the second phase of the game, bypassing the first press. You load the ball into the second phase of the game and Manchester United have the opportunity to then go 5v5. And with the ball, with someone, then you create an opportunity. With the ball, with Bruno, then you create Bruno's favorite part, facing his opponent. And that right there, I truly believe, is the 3 ways that I see Manchester United going to attack Liverpool. Going there to absolutely run Liverpool ragged. Now, this game might not be a game where Manchester United dismantles Liverpool. It might not be the coming out party that we want it for Amorim. All I want is for them to take this note and absolutely put it into execution. Because when you do that, I truly believe that Liverpool are out there for the taking. Now, when you look at the insights of Liverpool, I can tell you that Liverpool are not as strong as they think. Liverpool, of course, have scored 6 goals in 5 matches, in their last 5 matches. That's pretty good. 6 goals in your last 5. However, they haven't kept a clean sheet in their last 6 matches. So they are a little leaky. Konate is not up to speed. Virgil van Dijk is absolutely dancing until backing up. So they are absolutely leaky. If you put pressure, if you have your scoring boots or your shooting boots, you will score. Mohamed Salah is definitely ranked third in big chances created in the competition, which is 4. So he still creates. Whether we like it or not, Mohamed Salah is still a threat, especially when he has someone as prolific as Alexander Isak getting into his boots. So the key thing about this situation is that for Manchester United have to score, we have basically scored 8 goals in our last 5 matches. Pretty nice. 8 goals in our last 5 matches. I like it. Matheus Cunha has the most shots on target per match for Manchester United, which is 1.8. Now, the situation about this 8 goals in 5 matches is that Manchester United do not have a problem anymore in putting the ball in the back of the net. If it comes with a big chance, we tend to convert 1 in 3. We tend to convert 1 in 2 big chances. So that right there is a good return. It's a 50-50 return kind of situation. Bryan Mbeumo has created the most chances for Manchester United, most big chances for Manchester United, which is 1. There is a problem. So we need to create more big chances. We need to understand, and this is where Bruno Fernandes has to be key in this situation. Let me know what you guys think about this situation, because Manchester United going into this one will be key in this situation. Now you have to look at the injury of Liverpool, because we are not going to do the breakup now in terms of who is going to play, because so many things can happen between now and Sunday. But we have Alisson injured with his hip. So Maravashvili is going to start for Liverpool. Giovanni Leone is injured, but he is not the starter. So we didn't really that's not really affecting Liverpool right now. Ryan Gravenberch, he was scary because his late runs this season has been absolutely devastating, especially because Arne Slot has given him license to roam. Stefan Barisic, not really mad at that. I've never seen him as a first teamer. Wataru Endo is not a first teamer. Yes, he has a knock. He might come back. And for Manchester United, we have Lisandro Martinez with the crucial ligament injury. But guess what? He's back in training. Raise your hand if you're excited about that. And then one of our most intelligent players, Nusay Mazarawi, is also injured with a knock. Now he's doubtful, so it's not like he might not be able to make it. If everything goes well within this week, he will be able to make it. But the key part about this situation is that Manchester United need to look into the way Liverpool play and get some decisions right. We need to come out with a plan. We need to go in for the first 10 minutes, the first 5 minutes, try and punch them in the face and then settle into our system. That is what we want to do. Now, with the top goal scorers for Liverpool and Manchester United, of course, the top goal scorer for Manchester United is Bruno Fernandes with 2 goals, and for Liverpool is Hugo Ekitike. Expected goals for Bruno is 3.70. That is crazy. And the expected goals for Ekitike is 1.92. So he has definitely expanded his expected goals. So let me know what you guys think about this down in the comment. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that follow button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.